Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Don't worry. We'll get into that fraud. That doctor of Yabba Dabba Doo, El Saidi, and his band of liars and thieves and frauds. And it doesn't matter. Michigan is run by Democrats. They stole the election in 2020, and everything they do from now on means nothing. I don't give a rip what the polls say. If he gets elected or not, doesn't matter. I like to expose the scum of the scum. And every once in a while, you get a crossroads in the most odd places. For instance, one of the Ford brothers, not the big fat crackhead who's dead, his brother, the other Ford, who is the premier of Ontario or Ottawa or Gatsangoul, some funny-speaking French little enclave of communism where only the politicians like Ford get to make money. And only the politicians like Ford get away with open and notorious corruption. Think of it like Chicago, just a little north.
You sound a little more subdued than you did this morning on the radio when you said Donald Trump could kiss your ass. Did the Prime Minister tell you to ask you to tone it down a bit?
No, he didn't. I'm not going to comment, but he wasn't against that. And I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass. So
just remember that. When all the crying starts because of that bust-out, bankrupt, quasi-commie country that is as corrupt as Ukraine and Chicago. And you know, it got me to thinking, well, he was asked earlier today on Fox, you don't really like Donald Trump. No, you liked the dailies. You liked the nine-finger Yakuza. Chicago's where you had your front phony business. Deco Labels, right there in Shirakistan. Deco Labels. It got all the little sticker contracts for all the municipalities. And when COVID hit, he got all the warning labels. That's inside baseball. It's not as good as Alex Rivera, who is the chief DEI for Navy Pier with an office that doesn't exist, nor a job that doesn't exist for $319,000. This is a whole kind of business, and they pretend that they're capitalists. But in Canada, in Chicago, in New York, in New Jersey, and in California, this is the only version of capitalism they get. Inside corrupt, overpaid municipal fraud jobs.
You're listening to The City with Mayor Rob Ford and Councillor Doug Ford on News Talk 1010.
Now, one of them is dead. I think it's the mayor. He cracked himself to death. He was smoking crack with hookers. He was like Hunter Biden, only with an extra 150 pounds. So he was built like Pritzker, smoked crack like Hunter Biden and Whitney.
Good afternoon, everyone. Doug's back in the saddle from Florida. So watch out. He's back in the city now. So tell everyone, how was your little holiday down in Florida in Chicago?
I'll tell you, it was great. Man, when I landed in Chicago, I almost kissed the ground and saw the folks there. They're doing a great job. Everyone's doing a great job.
Just remind people why you're in Chicago.
Well, we have a business in Chicago, Deco Labels, and we have sales offices across the country. We've opened another plant and sales office, I should say, in California in the wine industry. And we have offices in Wisconsin and New Jersey and Ohio. Illinois is one of the main manufacturing facilities, and New Jersey is as well.
Manufacture political corruption. Made tens of millions of dollars. Sold it to Ares partners and investors, debt conglomerate. They got big headaches, too. Not as much as the people of Canada or the Canadian economy, which is a fraud as it exists today. And what I loved about it is the inside open trade with the communist Chinese was set up by Pierre Trudeau. And to this day, they are only a pass-through. So when you buy products that you think are Canadian, think again. They're Chinese communist products. You know what they do in Canada? They complain. They moan and they go broke.
Last week, Canada's Interior Minister, Melanie Joly, was in London at Chatham House selling Canada to the assembled audience as a, quote, stable, grown-up, reliable partner, as opposed to the United States, of course. But here is how that grown-up partner operates. 4 days ago, the White House put out a report called the Great Transshipment Scam. And the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, said the Chinese repackage their goods into products that are produced in countries with lower tariffs in order to, quote, smuggle them in. The broadcast was showing
No wonder all the products suck. Taste like wood chips.
just what countries are involved. And Canada is near the top of the list. But that's not the only list that Canada is on. When the administration escalated its tariff strategy back in...
Hey, Squirrel, this is like when Mike Madigan's kid went to go work for Mesro. What do you do? I'm in finance. Oh, are you? You're in finance, stupid? Sure you are. Just another front.
July, targeted countries which failed to enforce measures banning goods produced by forced or slave labor. Canada is on the short list of 6 countries which failed to enforce their own laws. And there are the dirty money flows, which are the hallmark of the empire's deregulated financial system. They have a name for the Canadian side of it. It's called snow washing. Transparency International Canada put the problem bluntly. Quote, there are more rigorous checks to obtain a library card than there are to set up a shell company. And they said this leaves Canada, in their words, with, quote, some of the weakest corporate transparency laws in the world. And
So it would be like Delaware with the same corrupt Biden syndicate protecting the corruption. So Canada's a combination of Delaware, Chicago, and Beijing.
Money that gets washed is not petty cash. British Columbia's Cullen Commission, a full public inquiry whose final report was released in June 2022, documented what investigators called the Vancouver model, cartel and triad money from the Sinaloa and CGNG cartels and Chinese triads laundered through casinos, luxury cars, and real estate. In BC real estate alone, the estimates ran from $800 million to over $5 billion a year. Now, if that reminds you of how...
Whoa, but I heard all day. They're our best friends. You're my best friend. And El Saidi's an American. You're my best friend. El Saidi's just like every other Democrat in Medicare for all the crackheads and the rest of it. I'm getting sick and tired of this double talk. But we don't have a media. We have a Department of Agitation and Propaganda. Every once in a while, though, some information comes out. And you know when it comes out? When they put these stupid, drunk pigs from Canada in front of a microphone. It was almost as good as El Saidi Yabba Dabba Doo on Jesse last night.
Canada is set to announce retaliatory tariffs at the top of the hour. And now I'm pleased to welcome someone to the show who knows a lot about this issue. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Premier Ford, welcome to Varney and Company.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. It's great to see you again, Lydia. I know we met at the Gordie Howe Bridge not too long ago.
We sure did. I want to get straight to this.
Screw Gordy, too. You know, Squirrel, I looked all over my condo. I looked for everything made in Canada. Couldn't find nothing. I was fully prepared to chuck it right off of the lanai. You got anything in your house made from Canada? Yeah, me either. But they're our essential trading partner. Are you?
Because at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, we are expecting a big announcement from Canadian officials who will be discussing retaliatory tariffs against the United States. Premier Ford, you have been very clear with respect to what you want to happen. You've called for dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff response. Tell us, what can we expect to hear at 11 o'clock, and will it meet your demands?
It will. We're working closely with the Prime Minister and the other premiers. I believe in dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. We are under unprovoked attack by President Trump. I always say, Canadians, myself, we love the American people. We love the U.S.
Is it unprovoked? You know, now when you talk to these Canadian morons who don't want to pay for anything, listen, do you get a free knee replacement? Then just spew the bull dung. But it turns out, Squirrel, there's all kinds of tariffs on us. There's all kinds of protection, not protecting the Canadian people. They're protecting the Canadian people from success. But they're keeping out our products. And this fat slob came to our country and had his inside baseball front company called Deco Labels that made tens of millions of dollars for making fracking stickers for municipalities. And then he sold it to a mobbed up company Boy, you guys are hard to figure out.
Premier, I want to ask you more about what you've called for, though, in response to our tariffs, which is, recently you've discussed cutting off America from critical minerals, energy, surcharges on energy, to try to hurt America. But, Premier, wouldn't that hurt the people of Canada more? When you're talking about relative pain, what about your energy producers? Wouldn't that make them suffer by removing us as a reliable customer?
Well, Lydia, it works both sides of the border. It's going to hurt the American people when you tariff goods. I always say a tariff on Canada is a tax on the American people, and it's proven that. I would rather make a great deal for both countries that will allow both countries to thrive and prosper. President Trump ran on creating more.
Wait a minute now. First of all, what he said is not true, necessarily. What else he says is that he hides the fact of what have you already in place, fat boy? What do you already have in place? It's like talking to that Islamo-Nazi from Michigan. You can't beat the truth out of these scumbags.
Jobs, actually, job numbers fell in the U.S. as Ontario saw 52,000 jobs last month. We have a strong and resilient economy. Canada buys more goods and products and services off the U.S. than any other country in the world. Why would you want to attack your number one customer? And yes, the U.S. is our number one customer.
And we are buying, and we are also, Premier, to your point, sorry to step on you there, but we are also buying most of Canada's goods from you, from your nation, which leads to the deficit that is a concern to President Trump. And he's concerned about how our American farmers are being treated, Premier. Vice President J.D. Vance just pointed out yesterday that, in his view, Chinese farmers are treated better by Canada than how Canada treats the American farmer. Would you agree with that?
That is totally untruthful. I'll give you the facts. The facts are we buy more agricultural products than anyone in the world.
No. Focus, fat slob. What is the tariff on American dairy, on American meat, on American agricultural into Canada? And what is the tariff from China into Canada? That's how it works. That's what we're talking about. You big fat ass, his belly button needs a hubcap. He can't stay focused, squirrel. He's like that big Ruprecht in class, always slowing down the other kids. What's the tariff on America versus the Chinese communists?
With Mexico, actually, we keep your farms open by shipping the potash. There's nowhere else you can get the potash outside of Russia. So 90% of our potash for the agricultural sector comes from Saskatchewan. And we want to send more goods, more opportunities to the American people.
Do Chinese farmers also face tariffs of upwards of 200% or more like American farmers are treated?
I don't know where you're getting the 200% tariffs, but that's not accurate. We buy more products, more agricultural products.
Because that's in your law. He doesn't know, squirrel. Just like he doesn't know about what he was overcharging for stickers at Deco Labs, Deco Labels, Deco Capital. Oh, yeah, he had three Decos, all right there out of Shirakistan. How many people talk about that? And yet he's going to pretend to be ignorant to the fact they come here, they financially rape us. They pretend to be our friend. Well, they prevent our products from entering. So I've got the answer for it all. Embargo. We don't need nothing. We don't want nothing. Seal the border. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on The Shaun Thompson Show.